Hello, and welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks, where Mike is going to threaten you with parts of his body and what he's going to do to you with it. That's how it started, and that you are all on-air witnesses to that. And hi, welcome back. We are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and sometimes overlooked films. I am Paul, and next to me is Mike, and today joining us is Collin. Hi, Collin.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Good, sweet.
So we're gonna do 2006's Grandma's Boy, which was talked about it if you're following us on things like Instagram or Facebook or sometimes social media. We have discussions which led to this. Grandma's Boy, a 35-year-old video game tester, has to move in with his grandma and her two lady roommates, which is the briefest summary on IMDb, but the one that starts it off. But yeah, we're here with Grandma's Boy, and what are you all thinking about Grandma's Boy? What did you know about Grandma's Boy?
I've seen this movie so many times.
Collin, is that the same?
Yeah, I've seen it a ton of times. Just talked to my parents about it. They've also seen it multiple times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do they want to be guests?
Yeah,
I'm sure they would be into it.
What are your parents' views of Grandma's Boy?
They love it also. I think
yeah.
they've seen it a handful of times. It's a, for a weed movie, it's a classic comedic romp.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think weed is also used in a more realistic sense in this movie, in most situations, where it's like...
Okay.
Well, I'm serious. It's like it's a party drug, or... I mean, we live in Colorado. Half the weed usage is he's smoking a joint while doing, like, outdoor chores. That's what I mean.
Okay,
That makes sense to me. Like, anywhere in any neighborhood in Denver, someone would be like, yeah, I need to paint the side of my house while I smoke this joint.
Right.
And every neighbor would look at them like we just did and nod and be like, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, someone's smoking a joint, someone's smoking 2 joints. Someone's having a beer, someone's having both.
Right.
Everyone's playing it cool. That's why they like Colorado, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And actually, one of the interactions with the drug dealer, I think, is a real life interaction that I've had with somebody at one point.
Oh my.
Did it involve a lion?
No, it was the monkey one.
Oh.
No, where he's trying to buy drugs. He's like, and he's listing off all like the names and like what they do, and he's like, dude, I just give me like weed, like just regular weed.
If you had to put a weed name, I've said this, so sorry, going back. I wish my job or one of my jobs was that I was just the person to name strains of weed.
Yeah.
So on the spot, if you had to name a strain of weed right now, like what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
Reefer Sutherland.
Great name.
Yeah.
Like, there
Puns, alliteration, that's really what you have to go for.
I'd go based on this movie, which we get to. Charlie's Hand.
Oh my.
It's not the way you want to wake up. Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Collin, you got a weed strain?
Gosh, I don't know. There's so many to choose from.
I think it really got me into it when I saw like the Westward writing articles, and it was like Dr. Doom's Kush came. I'm like, what?
Great name.
I was like getting like weird like superheroes, and I was like, if this isn't being marketed to kids, like back in the day, it was like Cool Joe's got to stop. I'm like, you're naming weed strains off like Spider-Man. Like, come on.
Yeah. I think my favorite weed thing is like if you ever listen to the radio, they have weed commercials, like
what?
like
Really?
for dispensaries.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's constant. But like the commercials all use like weird weed slang that we don't need to use anymore because this is 100% legal. And it sounds really, if you have no context for this, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it just sounds really weird. It's all that like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like, oh, come in for like 1/8 of the gram of the fattest, like you can just say the words now. Like it's fine. You can just say what it is.
You want to sell weed, just
Yeah.
sell
Like
weed.
we have weed. Like would you like weed? The store sells it. You can come in and buy it. It's weed.
If you've listened to the podcast, I've been trying to explain to Mike for episodes that you've got to pass the Doochie Pond.
I know, and it's never landed until now.
Yeah, finally, Mike
Yeah.
knows the slang. You walk into a dispensary, and you start singing.
Yeah.
You get a children's chorus, and everything's fine. It all comes back to that song in any weed culture song we do in Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
okay.
before we jump into Grandma's Boy, I thought I think Adam Sandler comes off as super polarizing. And I think our main character, who is Alex, who is played by Alan, was it Corvett?
I don't know.
I think it's Alan Corvett. I just don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think
I think it's Covert.
Or Covert, sorry.
That's badass.
Yeah, it's a sweet
Alan
name.
Covert, yeah, that sounds extra badass. I really like this actor. He is in Adam Sandler movies all the time, and I think that's the huge association. The biggest for me is he is the best friend in The Wedding Singer.
Right.
And I think there might be some extra hesitation going into Grandma's Boy because people think Adam Sandler's polarizing. Like, he could be too slapsticky, he could be too goofy. We've not really mentioned him much on Rabbit Troop Sucks. I have no problems with Adam Sandler. Even if he's in the slapstick, stupid kind of like goof film, I just wouldn't watch it or I'd write it off. But he's been in more fun films, all these like murder adventure films he's done for Netflix. I've really liked with Jennifer Aniston.
Those are super fun.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen these?
I don't think so. No.
Oh my God, there's like a sequel and he plays just a completely different role. He's not good at shooting, which is kind of his goof area.
Right.
But it's rare, but he's kind of like a deadpan comedic dude in it. Like he's really funny in it.
I haven't seen the second one, but I like the first one.
I think you'll like it even more.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. Yeah, and he's been in, Rough Gems. Was it
Rough Cut Gems?
Rough Cut? No, Rough. Yes. One.
Yeah.
Yes. That was super serious. I liked him in that. And going back, even some of the goofier roles, that's fine. Like it or not. I don't really know why Adam Sandler comes off as polarizing to people. Again, I think the problem with this film, his reputation might be people are like, that was a silly Adam Sandler movie. But it's definitely by his production company. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Well, it kind of plays like a movie where they really wanted or Adam Sandler was meant to play the lead character, but didn't want to for some reason.
I could see that.
But I mean, what's his name? Mr. Captain Covert?
Sure.
Yeah.
Alan Covert.
He reminds me of a young Gibbo, like Mel Gibson.
I can see
that.
that a
He
little
looks
bit.
like Mel Gibson a little bit. But he's fine. I like him a lot, especially in this movie.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a way better choice than Adam Sandler would be.
Oh, no. Adam Sandler would not have been the guy for this movie.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't know. I just like the writing of this. So we'll get to all the characters, but one of the biggest pulls for me is, again, going into, well, let's go with Mike. What was your hesitation when I was like, I think a lot of the weed use is more realistic. I feel a lot of the characters outside of like JP and a couple other maybe actions, a lot of people act, I think, how they would act in this room. Like,
okay, that's fair. When you first said it, I was thinking like there's a drug dealer hanging out with a lion and like an Ubuntu tribe.
No, not that. Not that. Not that at all.
Okay.
No, I think, a lot of these people are like, I go to work every day. I like my job, but it's sometimes a grind. I go home, I smoke some pot. Sometimes we go to parties. We hang out. We kind of know each other. My boss is a weirdo who's going to be JP in this. And I think a lot of people would be able to relate. And Alex Covert, Alex is the character. I feel a lot of his actions are honestly what I would probably do in a lot of these situations.
Yes, this is a movie of realistic reactions to things.
Sure, yeah.
So let's open it up. So we're at Alex's house with his roommate, and things are going wrong. And his roommate is Josh, and they're playing some Xbox. This movie is clearly sponsored by Xbox and some energy drinks and soda drinks throughout Game Informer.
Yeah. Was it actually sponsored by these?
I don't know. I mean, all those things are in the background pretty hardcore. Like we're showing like Xbox every which way.
I guess the fact that they showed it and didn't have to like obscure branding makes me think that they were on board.
Sure,
I guess.
I know that was like so this movie's 2006. In the early 2000s, I know that's like super kind of in with the advertising. I know the Truman Show kind of made fun of it. I don't remember when. I think it was like 99 or like maybe 98 when the Final Fantasy animated movie came out. Like that was like a big note that they didn't have sponsored advertising, and then people were like, wait, didn't they? And they're like Coke cans, like kind of Blade Runner-esque. Like I remember like one of the characters in the Final Fantasy movie was like walking around as like a random Coke can, or things were like shown and you're like, and it was, they were paid for it, but they like no one mentioned like it's a Coke can. It's just like obscurely in the background.
Also, so this movie was 2006.
Yeah.
It's weird. So iPhone came out in 2007, right? It's weird for me to watch a movie that's this kind of like modern feeling where people are using flip phones.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. It does hold up pretty well.
No, for sure. It's just like when you see, like, we're video game testers. We're doing like things that I consider to be modern stuff. It's like, I'm going to make a call. Click. Oh.
Yeah, landlines are used throughout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like the last year that was acceptable.
Also, I mean, I think later when he's at his grandmother's house, he hooks his, Xbox to a 1965 like first edition color television.
Oh, yeah, like one that's like built into a piece of furniture.
He definitely had some adapters. For
Yo,
that.
Oh yeah, when my brother and I were kids and we had like the Sega Master System, we had to in the Nintendo, we had to use like the coaxial cable, but then it was like the two-head splitter twin antenna that you could only do to channel 3, and like, you had to like
Yeah,
really configure.
Well, I mean, the one that he had for that old ass television, like it had the prongs that you had to screw into the thing.
That's what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
had to unscrew the prongs to like actually get it. And like I remember my mom was like, "Don't fool around," and like eventually she was like, "I think my sons know how to do it like, better than I. Like, go and do that." And I'm like, "Yay!" I felt super techie. I could unscrew 2 screws, two screws, and a device that I think came with those systems.
Yeah, no, it did.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I live in a crazy world.
That's how we learned.
That was pre HDMI.
That was pre a lot of things.
I live in a weird world. I hope you're listening to this on HDMI.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you. I hope it's HDMI. Bluetooth and or HDMI or simultaneously.
Yeah. So I was going through a box of cables the other day because I'm moving, and I found an S video cable. So shout out to anyone who knows what the fuck that is.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
I threw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. It was a monster cable, though, so I probably paid $80 for it at a Best Buy 20 years ago.
What if you strangled villains with it and that became like your calling card? Like the S video cable Avenger.
Right.
Like I would assume you're doing this for good purposes like Batman. You've now
Sure.
just gone like full rogue.
Forensics folk have never seen it before. Totally untraceable.
Do I leave one behind at the crime scene with like a business card?
That's what I'm saying. Like you use it, yeah, and you discard it.
Right.
You know,
Like,
no.
yeah, I tie it into like a little bow tie and leave it behind.
Do you know how confounding that would be to like everyone on the analysis case? Like, what would the psychology be behind that? Like, is he into video games? Is he into like that? Like, is he saying like we've moved on and he's like pro environment? Like, you would be written about forever. Just don't ever get caught.
Like, well, he's based on this. We can discern he's an old nerd.
Yeah, we look at like old game footage. Like who? It was like Game Force. We still have got Game Force in Colorado. Like you come up, like we check like the video cam. Like some guy came in and bought us out on S video cables like 7 months ago. It's like Law and Order style or like Criminal Intent or Criminal Minds. Like they're looking at this. Look at your hats in front of your face. Like I need 7 S video cables. Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. We got a story arc. So yeah, I've said this before. Collin's part of this. I know Jeremy's been part of this. We want in on the residuals. We'll write for you, Netflix.
Yeah.
We've got it. Give us some Netflix money.
I hear they have a lot.
I want in on it.
You know what? We're in the middle of a writer's strike. I'm not a writer. I'll write your shit. I'm not in a guild.
Yeah, I'll be a scab for
Yeah, exactly.
cash.
Yeah, that's fine.
I may or may not want my name associated with it, but I won't edit.
That's fine. We'll give you a fun stage name.
Sirhan.
Sorry.
Well, we're in
okay.
we're in the start of Grandma's Boy. And yeah, the roommate Josh and him are playing Alex are playing some Xbox. And there's a firm knock at the door, and boom, some fellas are in the kitchen. Oh, there's not a knock at the door. Alex just walks up, and some fellas are in the kitchen. He addresses them as such. Who are the fellas in the kitchen? And Yuri, while listening to Cypress Hill throughout the music, says it's like a Cypress Hill concert in here because they're smoking lots of weed.
And who is this gentleman?
Rob Schneider.
It's Rob. Derp Rob Schneider.
I like his character being all business in this movie.
Yeah.
A very palatable Rob Schneider character.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little culturally insensitive, but still funny.
Yeah, he comes in and he's like, "Hey, Alex." I like that there's a little rapport. Like, he does clearly like Alex enough. And it's like, and this is a realistic moment in the movie that I like, that, you know, the main character is at some crux. Like, how could you get here? And he's in good with Yuri. So he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, this is crazy. 6 months behind rent? Like, come on, man. This guy would be knocking like within a day of 1 month rent being delayed 6 months. So he's like, "You haven't paid me in 6 months." And he's like, "Yeah, every month I put hundreds of dollars into an envelope. I hand it to Josh, and Josh adds to it and gives it to you." And what do they find out?
Josh has been spending it on not whores, but massages.
Yes.
I don't remember the specific ethnicity of the massages.
Filipino.
There we go. Okay.
By Madam, I don't remember the Madam's name.
I don't either.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But he loves the Madam.
Yeah. So again, going back to this kind of like Han Solo, good luck, slick dude moment. Yuri's like, "I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and then these dudes are going to like squeeze your nuts. So get your belongings and get the hell out of here." Which seems kind of like a nice deal.
Well, I think it was specifically pulling their nuts out of his anus.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes in private troop sex, we don't carry all the details.
That's an important detail.
It is an important detail because there's a lot of hand motions going on by Rob Schneider to demonstrate to these big hulking gentlemen what they are going to do.
There's a bit of a pantomime.
So it is kind of nice because I, again, could see myself in this moment. Imagine you're a landlord and you have 2 bodyguards with you who could crush souls and bodies. Mm-hmm. And you're like, "Where's my money?" And some guy's like, "I'm not really part of this." And you're like, "I respect that. You seem honorable. Here's 5 minutes. Get the hell out of here." I assume they killed the other guy, but they did not. We see him later.
We do see him later.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. I thought the payoff would be like, because the story unfolds in front of him as well. Like, I've been giving this guy money. Like, yeah, but I've been spending it elsewhere. And then you can't really blame Alex in this. I mean, you could tell him get out, and that's what Yuri does. But
Right.
I wouldn't then get those dudes to beat him up. I'd get those dudes to beat up the other guy.
Yeah, definitely beat up the other guy.
I mean, just for funsies.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, why not?
So then Alex is out of a home.
He's homeless. He doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
The what's the roommate?
Dante.
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
He's gonna go stay with the madam because he's in tight with her.
Oh wait, maybe it wasn't Josh. Josh is the friend. Did I get a name wrong?
I don't know.
I think the roommate has a different name, and then Josh is the friend that he stays with.
Oh, Josh is
Nick Swartzen.
Nick
Oh no, it's
Swartzen.
Jeff. Sorry, there's 2. Yeah, Nick Swartzen is Jeff. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Josh is the roommate. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna go stay with the madam.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I get to stay there now.
Yeah.
He spent so much money.
Yeah, seems really convenient.
I mean, 6 months of rent in, I'm assuming, California somewhere. It's got to be
Chunk of change.
got to be something.
I mean, it's kind of a genius plan too. Like when you think about it, like think about a business that they're like, yeah, you could stay here, but you're gonna spend all your money here. Like,
Right.
That's great. I mean, think about like if McDonald's offered like, yeah, you could stay in their small McDonald's hotel, but you're only getting food from us forever and always, and the entertainment is coming from McDonald's.
You could be in the ball pit every day.
McDonald's, you get it up too. Netflix, McDonald's. It's not a sellout when we go big corporate because
Yeah.
we could give back to the people by doing exactly what we're doing now and plug at McDonald's.
I don't
Eat
know.
McDonald's.
I don't know if I want to eat McDonald's.
But what if McDonald's gave you billions of dollars?
I would eat McDonald's. McDonald's, I will eat you every day.
Well, let's backtrack even more. You don't have to eat McDonald's. You just need to pose like adjacent
I
to
see.
McDonald's.
I see. I'm not good at this yet, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
You need to be in the proximity of McDonald's and
Yeah.
be like, hey, I was near McDonald's the other day. Or,
Okay.
going back to what Jeremy loved, maybe Muffin needs an upgrade to Egg McMuffin.
Okay.
Yeah, so you start calling people Egg McMuffins. That's
Yeah.
going to go down probably extra well for you.
Okay.
Done.
I've been trying to integrate muffin into my daily speech, and it's not been going well.
Yeah, well, what if you used Egg McMuffin?
I'll give it a shot.
Colin, where do you sit on calling people muffins?
Gosh. Yeah, I think, food pet names have been a thing since forever.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't
not,
think-
well, let's go out of your significant other, out of
No, you
a
can't just
child.
call
Okay.
people food names. So, significant other, you can call them a muffin.
Yeah.
If they're not blood related or, by marriage, no food.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's the way.
not even like, thanks, cupcake.
I mean, if you want to be like, if you're a construction worker and you're trying
Yeah.
to catcall someone,
Right.
in the Bronx or something, go for it.
Okay.
I said before I could record this on an iPhone, but part of my love of anything is like tech gear. I have portable microphones. We could do a field test of this anytime that you want, Mike. We could go to any bar, and I will record all of it. I said we didn't need any video. I just need the audio of like, "What's up, cupcake? Hey, muffin. Hey, egg McMuffin." Kind of obscure it a little bit, get a little city on it. Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you're calling people like McMuffin at a bar in Denver at night, you're probably your night's not going to end well.
No.
It could end as well as you
Yeah.
want it to be.
So like after they, get kicked out of their apartments, they decide where they're going to go stay. Josh says he's going to stay with the madame at the Filippo Palace.
That's right, Philip. That's right. Okay.
And our guy Alex says he's going to stay with a buddy Dante.
He's gonna. That's right. He's gonna stay with Dante. Isn't Dante the actor's real name? Dante.
You might be right about that. I can look
It's
things
it's
up.
Peter Dante.
Peter. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's his
yeah.
last name. Okay.
So he could just be him. This could just be him in real life.
Yeah.
But Dante's his drug dealer.
That is correct.
But so he goes over there to do and buy drugs, but Dante won't let him stay because he's getting a lion.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I mean that's probably the correct choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't want a lot of wild card moves going on when you're getting a lion. You want a nice stable environment for your new lion.
I mean, I don't even know what to add to that. That is correct.
Yeah.
For all of you fans of lions out there, feel free to write us.
But why wouldn't you just get a guard dog? Because no one fucks with a lion.
Right. I mean,
Right.
this movie has sage wisdom left and right. I don't know what else people need out of this film.
Yeah. And then Alex says,
He's gonna stay with his friend Jeff.
well, no. Briefly, he's like, okay, if I can't stay here, I got to go because I have to go to my cousin's wedding.
Oh, that's right.
And I have no idea why this scene exists in this movie.
I agree with you overall, but my note is this would be me at this wedding. That I am not a big fan of weddings overall.
No,
like oftentimes, like especially this kind of wedding. This is like a very manufactured, like 200 people, like standard cake, like in a big room hall. It seems like very unintimate. So yeah, like no one really likes this. But this guy, Alex, our lead, he is engrossing a table of children, telling them what to do in these video games, and like their mouths agasp. Like he could say anything. He has captivated them like a wizard. He's like, you need to do this. You need to get the goblin bow. This is what you do. And then you go through this level and easy peasy. And these kids are clapping. If I could be this dude at a wedding, no joke, that'd be dream wedding scenario
Yeah.
for me. Like usually weddings, then people get like drunk and sloppy. It gets weird. I just want to be like, I entertained some kids. I ate some cake. I went home. Peace out. Goodbye.
Yeah. He's also wearing a polo shirt with a tie, like Mac from It's Always Sunny.
That's fine.
You're totally right with the Mel Gibson thing. He looks like he's about 40, totally acts like he's 19,
Right.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I did, because this comes up a lot, I did look up how old this person is in real life. So he was like early 40s when he was in this movie, and he was supposed to be 35. So that's not too bad.
Okay, yeah, that's not so bad.
That's not bad.
But then we're introduced to Grandma Lily. And Grandma Lily at this wedding is like, oh, like I live in this house, as you know, and one of my roommates died. And if you need a place to stay, you could join us. He's like, I don't know about that. She's like, I live with 2 other women. We're really fun. And he's like, no. I'm going to stay with my friend Jeff. And then goes to stay with his friend Jeff's house, which at a point in time, I looked at both of the gentlemen in this room and said, I don't even know how to properly notate this with what's happening. I don't want my name attached to this.
Real quick about the interaction with the grandma is right off the bat, they do set up well that he does have a great relationship with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're clowning around on each other. It's very open and jovial.
Grandma is honestly, I think, probably my favorite character of this movie.
She's great. What's her name?
I'm looking up.
It's
all-
everyone.
Doris Roberts.
Doris
Yeah,
Roberts.
from
It's Everyone
Everybody
Loves
Loves
Raymond's
Raymond,
mom. Yeah.
And Mike, Christmas Vacation.
And Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Don't forget Christmas Vacation in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She's super fun. Like, honestly, start to finish in this entire film, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so this movie is 20 years after Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
She looks the same.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if that's good for her in her older age or bad for her when she was younger, but she looks the same.
Yeah. She got to a certain age in frozen time.
Yeah.
You know, like in a good way. So that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But as an alternative to staying there, he goes to stay with, what's his name?
Jeff.
Jeff, yeah. Who Jeff's a bit of a weirdo.
Jeff is a total weirdo. Jeff, yes. Jeff
So
sleeps in a race car bed.
yeah, but
like
it's
the
a fucking
Simpsons.
sweet car.
It's a sweet car.
Yeah, I sleep in a big bed with my wife.
I sleep in a race car bed.
So he sleeps in a race car bed. His quote unquote roommates are his parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything negative that anyone who's ever had to live with their parents at any point in time.
Sure.
I'm saying I wouldn't be like, these are my roommates. And I
No.
also wouldn't sleep in a race car bed.
Well,
If it was a sweet
it was
car.
a sweet car, yeah.
He did say that for Christmas, he might get a walkie-talkie to talk to other
Yeah, like a
race car beds.
CB, maybe some rims.
Maybe that could be our spin-off podcast where we're just like the banter of race car beds. Like, Racer One, what you got going on? I'm watching this movie. So we got Smokies. It's my wife, run.
What's your CB handle for your race car bed?
Lil Kev.
Lil Kev.
He mentioned It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
And Lamar and I have been talking about that scene with little Kev and his little hand this whole time.
Well, it came up in the Manborg episode, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be. Sweet Kisses. So do you want to hear? Manly name? Sweet Kisses.
The old Pork Chop Express.
Collin, you got a CB handle?
Gosh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know,
That's probably for the best.
You don't want to be tied down to this as a hobby.
No, it's just best not to be. But
probably
yeah,
some number, 5-1, just to confuse everyone.
Like randomize it.
Yeah.
It's Sweet Kisses.
This is 5-1 each.
Really brings down the mood. But over a season, you could crack the heart of 5-1H. I guarantee. You get in a room of Rabbit Troop Sucks, 5-1H would be like,
Maybe I do like movies.
but it's going to take a while.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
But so yeah, he's spending the night here.
Briefly.
They give him an air mattress to sleep on, which I believe is an inflatable alligator for like a pool. Doesn't look super comfy, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and he's maybe a little randy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a weird move in the movie. This does not become realistic for me.
It's I think it's a normal strategy. Hey, you can't get to sleep. You need to tire yourself out a little bit.
Right.
Maybe rub one out.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Just normal stuff.
To a doll.
Well, yeah, he finds. I believe it was meant to be a Laura Croft action figure.
It was supposed to be Lara Croft.
Okay.
Yikes.
With the IMDb trivia actually mentioned that it specifically wasn't a Lara Croft, but Barbie redesigned for trademark issues.
That does make sense, but he did call it Laura.
He called it Laura.
Laura. Yeah.
I like, Collin, that it specifically mentions that. Like, don't you tie me down to this shit. Like,
Yeah.
names are names. I didn't say anyone's IP.
Yeah, we don't want IDOS giving us a call. But so he takes this doll to the bathroom, and he positions it kind of provocatively.
Yeah.
And he goes to wherever you go.
This is where I could not notate.
Yeah, Paul, stop taking notes here. Yeah, he's just going to town on himself a little bit. What's his friend's name? Josh?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff's mom walks into
Jeff's
the bathroom.
mom walks in. Oh dear. I don't know why I said it like an old lady. Because I feel like this woman is like my age.
That's how you greet everyone, Mike. And so instead of muffin, we go to a bar. Oh dear. I'll take a nip of brandy. That's
Well,
all you need.
he gave her a nip of something.
And he did.
Yeah.
And he did. Piece it together.
Yeah. He had reached a certain non-reversible point in his endeavor that ended up being completed directly on to the mother.
Wow, this is like you need to write 500 words for an essay.
Yeah.
And
No, did you
used
like that?
Every word you could scratch.
I have my
your way to the top
my
to that.
thesaurus out here.
Yeah, so he's promptly kicked out.
Very much
And
kicked
so he's
out.
like, you know what? I'm going to work on my own game, and I'm going to go to work and just work there. And he's a game tester
Mm-hmm.
at
Brainasium.
Brainasium. And so he's one of the testers, and he falls asleep testing his own game. And we meet Samantha, who is Linda Cardellini.
No one has ever.
I think it's
known that-
Cardellini.
I don't know.
As two Italian boys in this room, we will butcher all of this every which way,
Yeah.
as she is also Italian. Linda Cardellini. I want to give actually a small little shout out to Linda Cardellini because I am a huge, not just like a small, but a huge Freaks and Geeks fan. And if you have not ever watched Freaks and Geeks, you should absolutely do yourself a favor and watch it. It is sadly only one season. But on a side note for me, I just hope to meet this person one day and just shake her hand. I know that sounds like super weird. And I don't really say this about people we see in movies, but her character of Lindsay in Freaks and Geeks is, honest to God, the biggest character I could relate to in my adolescence, exactly like her. Like, if someone wrote part of my life story, they would have been her positions in school with her family. She did things way more intelligently than I, but like some of like her observations, her like feeling left out, her feeling like I don't know whose like friends I really am with. I could not relate to that character more than any character in any book, any movie, anything. And like anytime I go back to her, I'm like, she executes it perfectly. So that's why I would want to shake that person's hand. I'm like, wow, like that's like crazy. And a side note, Paul Feig is the writer of Freaks and Geeks and went to school with my mother-in-law. Boom. And they
kinda
knew each
cool.
other. Like
Nice,
they knew each
yeah.
other like actively. Like it wasn't like he was a kid in a hall. She's like, oh, he was my boyfriend's best friend. Like that's how they knew each other.
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Like I've seen Freaks and Geeks. It's fine. It doesn't resonate with me that much. But like, I am a huge Linda C fan.
Cardellini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her in Scooby Doo.
She's
is
awesome.
amazing.
She's in The Founder, which was a side part. She's in Green Book, which I thought she was really excellent in that.
Fucking Wendy Corduroy from Gravity Falls.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Gravity
great.
Falls is great.
Yeah, shout out to Gravity Falls, all you Gravity Falls fans. Hell yeah.
ER if you're 50.
Yeah. Right.
She's in ER?
She's for 5 seasons. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's in
Wow.
she's a Marvel person.
Yeah, she's
in a ton,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's the wife of
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye,
And
yeah.
I think she's another character too. In like I think the newest Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I read a trivia point with Gravity Falls that she did that like immediately after like having a child, like did some voice acting. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
And yeah, she's an awesome character in Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
So feel free to be on our show, Linda.
Has anyone seen the new Guardians?
I've not, have you?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, me either.
Maybe she should get us in. She could guest
Okay.
on the show and be
She
like,
could, yeah.
She'd be like, we're gonna have another premiere. We'll do it in Denver, and we'll be like, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll see it.
Sure.
We'll take her out to food.
Yeah.
I say that very generically, food.
Dress like Velma. It's not a sex thing, but just do it anyway.
That's weird.
We'll talk about it in my Dropbox later.
Okay. As again, you could always reach us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com.
You know, I think at this part of the movie too was the first time I noticed the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this whole movie was pretty banging.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Except the last track.
No,
Sure.
Strong disagree on the line.
The song's written for the movie.
Yes.
Which is super weird to begin with, were not great. But
No, I mean,
the songs they pulled from 2005, 2006 for the movie excellent.
This is a dying art. Like, we don't see a lot of final credit songs that are just rehashing of the plot, like following in the great footsteps of Men in Black, Wild Wild West, most Will Smith movies, where we're rapping about the plot of the movie. That's what I think all closing credit songs should be.
Well, it made me think immediately, and I think it's towards the end of Ghostbusters 2, by Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
You get like spirit. Some people hear it. Some people fear it. Spirit. Some people just won't go near it. And then it goes through about the spirits and shows I'm me and the skies are blue. The Ghostbusters are back and all brand new. And the moment that hit in that song of Ghostbusters 2 is like, nah, you made a mistake, friend. Like, don't say it. And yeah, the narration of the last track was like, Elks has got to move out of his house. Things are getting rough. And I was like, what the shit? Like, no, like, it was rough. But I totally agree with Collin. Like, the soundtrack was a ton of fun, except for that track.
Yeah.
That was fucking Cool Keith.
I know, and it was Cool Keith, which was like, was he made to do this? Like, was someone like, here's a ton of money? Because Cool Keith, I totally appreciate that if that was the case. But I don't think you were given a ton of money. Who did you owe?
No one has ever given Cool Keith a ton of money. He played in Denver not long ago, and I really wanted to go see it.
Where at?
Mercury, I think.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I was out of town when it happened.
That'd be super cool.
But I really wanted to go see it.
He probably owed Rob Schneider and his two lackeys some money.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He owed someone money.
Someone's getting money from someone.
Yeah. So we meet Linda C. Right?
Cardellini.
Cardellini.
Yep.
And she's
Sam. She's Sam.
She's Sam.
Samantha.
Yeah, so she was brought in by Brainasium leadership to kind of project manage this video game release that's kind of going south.
Yeah, it seemed like they were getting off target for the release date, and they pushed it back once, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe mentioned in passing, but the important part is that she's here to kind of get things back on track.
Yeah, honestly, going to 2006, I don't remember how games were released. Like, I felt like 2006 is like still the time it was like, it's going to come out on March 1st, and it came out on March 1st. But like, now it's like, it's going to come out on March 1st, maybe. And I might tell you 3 months ahead of time that March 1st means next year.
Well, that's because you only buy games for Nintendo, who suck at everything.
I don't know. It wasn't like, I mean, Cyberpunk was renowned with like, hey,
we're going
to push this back twice, and people are going to be really pissed off about it.
Well, Cyberpunk came out, and it was not really a finished game.
Yeah, that was a unique disaster.
Yeah, that was. But now it's fucking dope. Cyberpunk is great.
I also, wasn't the other problem, like a lot of people complain, and these aren't really the games I play. I know these are way more complex and like lengthy, where it's like a game is released and it's like, yeah, well, actually that was only the first half, but a download second half for a mere $30 could be attached to this. Isn't that some of the games too?
Oh god, that's the Final Fantasy VII remake. It's like you pay $70 for the first
like installations,
several hours, and they're gonna come out with the other one next year.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That game is super fun, though.
it was so good.
It really was.
You have a rapid trip.
I got it for free on PlayStation Plus, so you guys can suck it. So, what?
Oh yeah, so Samantha comes in and introduces
Yeah,
herself. And this is the beginning of basically a movie. It really introduces itself as a movie that could not be made past, 2020, because the sexual harassment is rampant throughout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think overall for a movie in 2006, it holds up fairly well and still being funny and not being like super gross or super, super terrible in this regard.
I mentioned this was the last time that you saw flip phones in a movie. This 2006, I feel, is the last year that you could make this movie.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, as a shitty person from the 90s and 2000s, I love it because I'm a horrible person.
Here on True Confession.
but like, yeah, I mean, a lot of the humor, like, to me, it still stands up, but you couldn't do it now.
Here's how I would defend this humor too, even to anyone today, is this. Even if something, and I don't mean the sexist jokes, and there are clearly sexist jokes, and I'm not defending those, but there's a lot of, like sex topic humor. And even the guys always apologize to Sam. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. And they play it off like I'm a stupid guy. And they are. And they're like kind of immature guys. but she doesn't miss a beat, and I think that says ample amounts about the writing on her character. Like the grandma and her are my favorite, because this story arc could have definitely been, she's this ball busting woman and you've got to chip away at her. She's like totally into role. She's like, I've worked in other, like situations like this. I know how to work with these like weird, immature guys. Yeah, and they're all nerds. Like, and everyone's making jokes, and if it's inappropriate, she could dish it right back. And I think that makes this movie like way different than movies that are similarly related to it.
100% agree.
Yeah,
she totally dishes it out. She's super good at it.
Agreed. Yeah, her character is very well written. I guess my point about this not being able to be made today is like, I feel like, especially in our generation, like, people were shittier to each other, kind of in a humorous way. Like, I mean, when I was in high school, we said horrible shit to each other, like friends. Like, I mean, friend of the podcast, Chris, who was guest hosted, like, we've known each other since high school.
I've known Jeremy since I was, as I noted, 12 or 13.
Yeah, exactly. And like, the way we would talk to each other back then, and like, honestly, Chris and I still to this day, is like, to a casual observer would seem super, super inappropriate. And I don't feel like that's not like the language of friendship for people who are younger than us.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you took out insults in this movie would be 20 minutes long.
Oh, yeah, and it would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like people in their 20s now, like, it's everyone's more thoughtful and conscientious, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But like, yeah, people just don't interact with each other this way anymore.
I have held out an approach that my father was a guest, as noted on the show, that I've taken from him.
Rico.
Yeah. That I am very direct. Like, I don't play like if my insult, or if I have a problem, I shouldn't say insult, but if there's a problem, like I am very direct, one-on-one, not publicly, not to like shame someone. But if there's like a problem, I'd be like, I have this problem with you face to face, and I feel people are very taken aback by that. In a more contemporary time, not everyone, but it's never to be mean. I'm never like using swear words or anything like that. I have no situation off the top of my head to like relate this to, but it could just be like, I ordered a coffee and someone said something, I'd be like, I do not appreciate you saying that. Like, I would say that to someone, and I would not flinch, and people are like, I can't believe someone was so direct about that. And I think that's kind of a problem, that you can't be direct about certain things nowadays, even if you have good intentions.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess for me, it's not even directness. It's just like,
I mean, this is mean. That's I know this is aside, but
for
I'm like,
sure.
But I'm like, I do feel like comparing that, we're like 20 years later, I do feel it is more difficult to be direct. Like, people are very taken aback. I appreciate directness. As long as it's done with tact, again, that you're not publicly shaming someone or doing weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate directness as well, but for me, it's just more like colorful language. Like, I just recently returned from a work trip, as you know, and
It's like the Seinfeld episode, like, you sons of bitches.
well, so it was me and a colleague who was my age, and then 3 people who are on my team who are all in their 20s, and me and my colleague talked to each other much like the people in this movie talk to each other, like, no, you dumb piece of shit. Like, this is, stop fucking around. And the 3 people in their 20s are all like, are you guys mad at each other? Like, no. That's just how Gen X people talk to each other, because we're dead on the inside.
That's so sad.
I know. Yeah, it's a different way of communicating. And that was kind of like a long-winded way through this. But yeah, like, people don't talk to each other that way anymore, I don't think.
It's definitely one of the best parts of this movie. Like, the dialogue,
Absolutely,
the banter is incredible throughout.
It really is.
I mean, Collin, I know you're brothers. Did you ever have even this kind of banter with your brothers?
Not a chance. Like the level of banter in this is so well written that me and my brothers, even though, how close we are, could just never have been at this level.
You would have to take notes on this.
Sure, yeah.
And we're leading into a part of that, an instance of that, because at the Brainasium here, what's Nick Swardson's name?
Jeff.
Fuck. Yeah, Jeff and Alex go to quote unquote lunch, and it's just like at the cafeteria room, and Alex challenges people to video game contests, I guess, on a daily basis.
Or people are challenging
Or
him because
people-
he's the champion.
right, because he's the kind of the elder statesman here.
And I do kind of like this. They randomly choose a game, and
Right.
he's got to
And
beat him at a random game.
And he does. He just beats the shit out of him.
I don't think it was random. I think the challengers get to select the game.
Well, yeah, the challengers get.
yeah, random to him, sorry,
Bog,
yeah.
bog frog. Yeah.
But they also refer to him as Greybush, which I believe is like a Gandalf reference about his pubes.
Right, and so like those are the things being thrown around. And again, this is why I like Sam, the character. She comes in and she's like, I was specifically paying attention to her reactions. She is totally cracking up, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
almost feel like in real life.
Oh yeah, if you walked into this as a casual observer who had any sense of humor, you would be amused by
Right,
this.
and as Mike is noting, like Greybush is being used, but like I mean, they're like, I'm really sorry, but she is laughing, and that's the balance I feel this movie has a lot. It's like these guys are being nerds and they're like apologetic and aware of certain things. Like no one is being like overtly sexual, even though JP does say some weird things at the end. Anyone in this room, I should say, is not being overtly sexual towards someone or being intentionally derogatory.
I don't know if we've met JP yet.
We're gonna.
We're gonna. Well, I think next we're kind of we're introduced to Kevin Nealon.
I love Kevin Nealon's character.
Absolutely. I don't know what his name is.
Mr. Cheezle.
Mr. Cheezle. He has a dope ass soul patch. He's got some great sandal sock combos.
I want to live in Mr. Cheezle's office.
He has a great office, but he's the owner of this outfit.
He seems like a great boss. I'm really not gonna lie to you. Maybe I wouldn't have thought that when I was younger, but this guy's all like, I made some nettle tea, and I'm a
Dandelion and nettle tea.
dandelion and nettle tea, and it's it's good to cleanse part of your aura. And he later has someone, what I'm assuming is using burning sage to clear the room of negative thoughts and spirit or spiritual energy. And if someone was doing that and that was my boss, I think I would actually be fine with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
sure.
He seems like super chill. Like I'm not just that. Like later we find out, he's also knows Dante.
He does know Dante. But yeah, this is where we meet JP.
Oh yeah, JP's a weirdo.
Well, he's dressed like he's in the Matrix.
Yep.
Which they do joke about. I love pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth. Because he talks to himself. He has like a secondary robot persona that often talks to his normal human persona.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely got split personalities.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is a Gollum situation that happens later in his weird Batman computer lab. But it is definitely like a struggle of souls and integrity.
Yeah, it's like JP is super neurotic, but his robot voice is the super sensible one.
Right. Yeah, like everyone kind of likes the robot voice better, even though it's the worst voice.
Right. But so he immediately is enamored to Linda C. And is trying to like impress her with. So he's like the video game prodigy.
Yeah, like a lot of what he talks about, he's like, I am a genius. I did create this. And he later tells like, I beat Zelda before I could walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire now. He's going to buy robot legs.
I'm thinking about having metal
the robot
legs installed. It's a risky operation, but I think it would be worth it.
Exactly. I love that quote.
I like when he later realizes that it's not going to happen. That's part of the breakdown. Like, the robot legs will never happen. Like, it's always been in the back of his mind. Like, it's a farce. It's a fantasy. Yeah. One of my favorite JP moments, it's very subtle. But JP, or Kevin Nealon's character, also is like, hey, you want some tea? And even he's like, oh, God, no. Like, no. Like, he definitely looks down like, I've had the tea before. Don't drink the tea. Like, it seems like his weakness. Like, don't talk about the tea.
Right. But so he's kind of showing Linda C around the office. And they go into the room where the video game contest is happening with Alex. And he has won already. And the guys are giving him a hard time for having a gray bush. And, because she's cool, Linda's like, hey, congrats on having a bush. Nothing? No one's going to help me out with that?
It's a great line. It establishes that she's got, she can totally hang with the boys.
Right, yeah, exactly. My note says robot fingers. I don't know what that means.
There's a robot finger?
Okay.
Yeah, when so after
he does the finger guns.
Yeah, so
yeah.
he leaves. They kind of insult him a little bit, and he does the And he does the middle finger and
Yeah,
blasts everyone
that's
with the pew pew pew. Yeah.
And I believe he refers to this room as the stupid idiot room for jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of Sam's looks the whole time are like, God, this guy's an idiot, and she's clearly having fun. And again, the dynamic almost always is, and this isn't always just like the woman coming in, is like some superiors like, I was hired to oversee this, and I'm really strict. Parks and Rec, I was talking about with Collin, Adam Scott's character is just like this. Like, I'm here to oversee things. Later, the heart melts and stuff like that if you're a big Parks and Rec fan like I am. But that's his job, and you think that's going to be her, but she's like down to roll. Like, I have a job, let me meet everyone. If everyone could do their job, we're going to have fun doing this. Like, that's pretty established pretty directly. Again, that's usually just not how this is written. And I really feel this movie separates itself by doing this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, her character is written really well, I think.
Yeah, and I like Alex. Alex is working, a full-time job. Alex clearly just needs a place to stay, and he's working on his own video game that seems to be going well for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, now we see he does concede and he goes to stay at his grandmother's house.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, when the next scene is outside of the office where he's looking for a place to stay, he calls to one of his friends, and he's like, the friend, as he scoots away on his scooter, is like, why, so you can jerk on my mom too. This is super funny, and that this kind of sets up him sleeping in the same house with a bunch of hot roommates.
Yeah, he's telling this
right
lie.
off
He's
the
like,
bat.
yeah, weaving this fantastical tale of like, I'm staying with 3 ladies.
Yeah, it's this cool girl I've known for a long time and her 2 roommates. Yeah, so yeah, he's setting it up like he's a player.
Yeah.
And he's getting it every night. But it's his grandmother and these 2 elderly women, one of whom is a pill addict and is way out.
I love the opening introduction of meeting, the grandmother's roommates, because the grandmother is cooking Alex food. He's like, I'm starving. And it is like every grandmother situation. She is giving like a smorgasbord of leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
And even as I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I'd eat all that.
Yeah.
It was like, it includes lasagna, scrambled eggs, pudding, and wedding cake.
Chicken cutlets.
And chicken cutlets.
Yeah, it's all like, it is just like a buffet. It is enough food for 3 people. It is spread out, and I mean, it's your grandmother's cooking. Hell yeah, Like, I would eat all of that. That's great.
And B, the pill addict has her plate of pills spread out like a smiley face.
Yeah, yeah, I love B. She's great.
So then immediately Alex is shown his room, and the woman who once was taking it, he's like, she didn't die in the bed. No, she died on the floor. And he's like, ugh.
That might have been my favorite moment with the grandmother.
What's about to happen?
Well,
Yeah, what's about to happen?
I do like that. But yeah, when he's like, she didn't die in the bed, did she? She's like, oh, no. She fell off the bed. She died right here.
Yeah, so the next scene, the grandmother... Well,
Alex is asleep,
yeah.
and he wakes up in in a start.
Yeah, we assume like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
And there's like a ghostly voice like,
Yeah, I'm dead on the floor.
it's so cold. No one came to get me off the floor.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I would have taken you off the floor. Like, shit, lady, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Are you fucking kidding me? But then like, it's his grandmother. She's like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. And then she's like, don't swear, it's beneath you.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up to the grandfather clock chiming off, and he starts screaming, like, why is this happening to me? That's amazing.
That is what he does. That's how I get up every day.
He shakes this clock. It eventually stops, and then he lays on the floor and collapses. Maybe what I'm assuming for 5 seconds of sleep, and the grandmother wakes up and says, I'm going to make breakfast. And he's like, great.
Yeah.
Before we get too far ahead, the night scene where the grandma comes in and scares them was like super akin to 2005's Wedding Crashers. They had a very similar scene, right, where they
The sun?
the sun comes up and it's super at night. I wonder how many scenes like about that era.
The midnight art show.
Yeah.
People don't like things at night.
No.
Yeah.
This is why we recommend you listen to Rabbit Troop Sucks at night. We record usually at night, and we just want to keep you safe. That if people are and the spirits are going to attack you, they'll be lulled back to a conscious, good state by listening to us.
Yeah.
Just listen to the gentle sound of our voice.
Yeah, we are bring us money. Just open Venmo.
Yeah.
You want to know more about Mike and his ways? Venmo.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants. Yeah, but yeah, so she's like, get up off the floor. I'll make you breakfast. And he eats breakfast. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to bed. She's like, don't you have to go to work? He's like, yeah, not for 3.5 hours. Because it's really early and I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
But they find chores for him to do.
So I don't know if I'm skipping much, but I know Alex is back at work. But there's a cut scene between JP and Sam. And I had to stop it because I wanted to write down the quote exactly. JP is a total creeper, and he doesn't know how to talk to anyone at all, especially a woman he finds attractive. And he, in his creepy way, sneaks up aside her and says, I want to get you a black cobra just to go around your neck. And I just want to say that to just random strangers now. I want to say lots of things.
And who wouldn't want that?
I would not, but that was just an image painted in my head. That's so weird.
Also, I'm gonna give you a warning because I know you want to. Don't hashtag Black Cobra.
Is there a reason why?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. You should hashtag Black Cobra.
Okay. We're gonna get some weird stuff with that one.
Yeah, they'll love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think then that kind of just brings us back to the house.
Yeah,
they're
so
testing.
Well, Alex has. I thought he was carrying around like a briefcase, but it's actually just the largest Dell XPS computer known to man. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got a video game side project that we're learning about.
Demonic.
Demonic, yeah.
With a K.
Now I want to bring something up here.
Okay.
So, part of the release of Grandma's Boy, they introduced Demonic as a game, and so they were going to actually produce and make this game. And the company that was going to make it, called Terminal Reality, made a whole bunch of games, and they were hired to do Demonic, and they canceled it for financial reasons.
Sure.
But they did another game much earlier in like 1995 that Entertainment Weekly compared to Wing Commander 3.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
well.
Yeah. I thought you'd like that.
I do like
I think it was
that.
called Hellbender, something like that.
We're
Okay.
big. We're I'm assuming big in Germany because they love Wing Commander.
Yeah.
That's my
probably
assumption.
true. Yeah.
So calling it back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Demonic. So the character in Demonic looks kind of like the Predator.
Yeah.
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 And for some reason, Alex then leaves to get a legal cable box at Dante's house. Like, I don't really. He's like, I'm gonna get cable for my grandma.
Yeah, I think he wanted. Maybe it was like a freebie with the weed
Sure.
he was going to pick up.
Yeah. Well, he gets it because that's kind of an integral plot part for how he works with grandma.
Just to backtrack a second, Alex leaves to do this with his grandmother playing Demonic.
Oh yeah, that's right. She loves it. She loves Demonic.
She loves Demonic, and this will come into play later. But yeah, he does go over to Dante's, and he gets some weed and a cable to scramble her, I guess.
Yes. Then he comes home. He's really actively trying to do work. Part of the reason Sam is there is to make sure everyone is play testing certain levels of the game, and he has just not had time to test the levels that he's been assigned.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get some food. And I told Collin on the side, this next scene is like my nightmare. I don't know why I think about this all the time. It just seems like so readily accessible that anyone could do this to themselves. He's like, I'm going to get all this food. And, of course, again, grandma has this smorgasbord of leftovers. He puts all this food on he's like, she doesn't have a microwave. So he puts all this food directly on a pan, and then puts it right into the oven. And then he goes and smokes some pot and kind of forgets about things. Then he opens the oven and directly grabs the pan with both of his hands and throws it, and basically just goes to the fetal position screaming all sorts of profanities. But
Yeah.
This whole scene is crazy. So he turns the stove to 450 degrees, which if you are going to bake anything for any serious amount of time, especially if you're going to walk up to your room, smoke a bunch of pot, you're not going to leave anything in the oven for 450
No,
degrees.
it's too
Especially
hot.
not leftovers.
Well, especially he's got a banana.
A banana. I definitely took note of the
450
banana.
is too hot for the banana.
Yeah,
bananas love 450, Mike.
which evidently disintegrated because I'm pretty sure it wasn't there when he
No,
took
I
it
don't
out of
think
the
it
oven.
It was all pasta and chicken cutlets.
Yeah, this is like just my nightmare come true. That you just like barehanded grabbed a super hot pan and you are writhing in pain. I told them just to leave me. That I'm just done. I'm just done at this point in time. Like this this is over. I just cannot imagine the pain that you would be feeling. One of the reasons is one of my friends once, he told me this story that he burned his hand on the stove. And it might have been both. I can't remember the story in full. It was like a really good friend of mine's roommate, so like we're pretty good friends at this time, and he's like, I was little, I burned my hand on the stove, my parents were out, I ran out and it was like snowing, and he put his hand in like the snowbank as his skin kind of like started sliding from his fingers, and he basically passed out, and his mom like immediately was in the driveway in those like hospitals, and I was like, oh my god, what is going on?
That's like some Joe Pesci Home Alone shit.
Yeah, it's like it was like really graphic. So like someone like just accidentally burning that, like I cannot even imagine.
No.
Oh.
Well, speaking of having both your hands burned, the next scene is we see Alex, both of his hands wrapped up, back at the office, unable to get anything done.
Yeah. And writing it off that he's been having hot sexual encounters with these three, rambunctious women, and everyone at the game office is super angry at him because he's not getting his levels done, but he says he will, and he is known to get his job done. But they're also extremely jealous that he's living this crazy bachelor lifestyle that all these guys could only dream of.
Yeah. One of these guys is a young Jonah Hill, by the way.
Yes, Jonah Hill is in this film all throughout. You rarely hear about that with Jonah Hill background movies.
Yeah.
I feel it's like super bad. Everyone thinks this is his origin, but he was in a couple of movies. I mean, 40-Year-Old Virgin, he's got a huge cameo.
the platform shoes.
Yeah. I want to wear these right
Can
now.
I just buy this right now?
Take these right out of the store.
Like, no, you got to buy them on eBay. Like, I don't get it.
Like even Steve Carell, like, don't look at me. Yeah.
My notes are making sense. So JP is in his office, like doing. He has like a weird like office game chair recliner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like rocking some techno, and one of the lackeys comes in and kind of makes a suggestion, and it's a good suggestion about how to get the game back on track. He's like, "No, that's stupid. You don't even know."
But wait, let's go with the techno song.
Oh yeah,
Some Aphex Twin,
Yeah, the song is just like huge. Yeah, just like huge bassy, just like in and out vibes.
Right.
It's window liquor, isn't it?
Is
it's,
it?
It's a window liquor from Aphex.
That
Twin.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, the guy's like, I guess I don't really like techno.
He's like, you would if you had
robot ears.
Yeah, you would if you had robot ears. It's all about robot stuff with this guy.
So good.
Robot legs, robot ears.
Yeah, and then he also starts off like, like you should knock at the door. I did. Well, your music's loud. Do you fear it? No. I feel the part of the writing in this movie, this is the one character I don't like how he's written. I don't like that he's self-abusive and he thinks he's a worthless piece of shit. And I say that directly quoting him. He's like, I'm a worthless piece of shit. Because JP always makes him feel bad. I don't really feel there's enough redemption in this character. Because I'm like,
the Asian guy. You
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
I'm like, that sucks. Like this guy
He has a
feels
name,
like,
Mike.
yeah,
It's Kane.
Kane. Yeah,
Kane.
Kane.
yeah. So yeah, Kane has this suggestion, and
gonna
it
remember
is later
Fair enough.
used. And I'll just jump to the chase. JP totally steals it. He gives it to Sam, and she's like, "That's a great idea. That's a great suggestion." And he steals the idea, like he will later steal other things. And he's just made to feel like shit. And again, at the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, that guy is now not as cool, but like Kane has no redemption. He's just like told he's shitty the whole movie. I really don't like that.
No, that's a bummer.
But everyone else like has redemption and like better arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, like I don't think it, this isn't obviously an important part of the movie at all, but the specifically the issue was that like the dwarves on level 4 and the elves on level 6 looked the same. Which, if you were designing a game where dwarves and elves look the same, you've got issues.
Yeah.
Oh, also when they brought up, so JP, when he steals the idea, when he pitches it to Sam, even though it's pure theft and plagiarism, she's like, well, we don't have time to re-render all these characters. And I totally agree with Collin. Like, well, how similar do they look? He's like, well, we could just change it by like recolor mapping that. And he's like, it should only take a couple days. I'm like, couple days?
It should take
5
seconds.
minutes?
Yeah.
Like that goes booting up like the computer and someone playtesting it. Like, all right, their vests are red now. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that should be like a touch button.
So I think the next notable thing that happens is the grandmother and the roommates show up to deliver lunch to Alex. And there's like some shenanigans that happen. Alex is asleep under the desk, etc. But effectively, the point of this scene is that we find out that this is where it is divulged that Alex is living with his grandmother, and he's not banging 3 babes.
It's true. But all the levels are in. Alex has successfully done all of his testing. And not JP, I'm sorry. Kevin Nealon's character is like, hey, everyone should go out to eat, apparently. And Sam is like, we're all going to go out to eat on his dime. We're going to go celebrate. And they all go to this weirdo vegan restaurant. So
Not yet. You're
Not
actually
yet.
missing a key part.
Oh, no.
So they're freaking out because they're not getting through levels. Alex buys his roommates and his grandma tickets to the Antique Roadshow.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good
So
call.
he has to coerce them to get the F out of the house
Right.
so that he can jam through all of his levels in one
Yeah.
night.
Yes, and one
But
of
he
the threads
does.
is when they got cable TV, they became addicted to Antiques Roadshow. Good call, Collin. Yeah, that was awesome. And so, now they're at this vegan dinner, and we have a guest cameo by David Spade, who comes out, and everyone's really bummed about this. Listen, I know everyone has different dietary concerns in this room, but holy God, like, this is like the worst of the worst vegan restaurant you could ever be at. Like, I think like every vegan restaurant I've ever been at, you could get beer or wine regardless. Like, we don't have that. We have shots, but they're wheatgrass shots. I'd be like, are you serious? Like, this is the worst. Not that I'm saying you can't have fun, like not drinking or whatever, but like, that's not the joke. Like, don't you have other drinks? Like, no. Or what was like the tofu cakes looked good. That sounds bland.
Yeah.
I like tofu. That just sounds bland. Someone's like, do you want a tofu cake? I'd be like, no.
No one wants this. Yeah, it was obviously played up to be kind of like lame sounding, but this is everyone's vegetarian vegan nightmare.
Sure. Yeah.
But David Spade was a great
David
Shiloh.
Spade, as Shiloh.
Yeah.
I loved the line where he's like, everything is good and good for you. There's no added fats or grease. And then Alex is like, well, can we get fat or grease if we pay extra?
I like Shiloh's other line, or Shiloh's line when he's like, F you, get out of here. And everyone's leaving. And Sam goes, I'm really sorry. And he goes, oh, you were sweet. And he said that sincerely, like,
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, but your friends are jerks. Fair enough. Well played.
But they go to like some kind of like
Burger joint.
burger joint. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds way more fun. They got a bunch of burgers, and they're like, let's get a bunch of beers. Like, I'd probably rather do that than, like, some weird restaurant that you're not going to have a good time at.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But then Jeff's got to poop. Jeff's like, your grandma lives here, and I
Jeff
got to
does have to
poop.
poop.
And he develops a plan, and he's like, we're going to get to your grandmother's house immediately. And Alex isn't super into this. But I'm going to throw this out. This for me, as I said, like I like this film. There's a lot of highs for this film for me. I like several of the people cast in this film. I like a lot of the kind of reality adjacent things that are happening. People can relate to this. I love this party. My wife and I watched this a couple months ago. This is when I was like, we should watch it. And Colin's like, you guys should do this. And Colin's seen this movie many times. And I remember looking at my wife and being like, I hate parties, like massive parties. But I was like, I would absolutely go to this one. Everyone seems so chill. Like everyone seems maybe gruff or weird or different or whatever. Everyone's super cool at this party. I would go to this party in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and what we're skipping is that they go to the grandma's house. And
becomes a party.
And it becomes a party.
I was just so excited about the party.
Because they get there and they have like a 6-pack of Steel Reserve.
Don't you?
Yeah, at all times, but I thought I was the only one.
They had like Red Stripe.
And
too,
red,
like-
yeah. Yeah, Sam had Red Stripe. The other guys had Steel Reserve. But yeah, and so what the grandmother and the roommates are still awake because she made tea out of some weed that she found.
Yeah.
So they're high as fuck. And they're just kind of hanging out at the house. The grandmother's making food, and Sam is like, you know what? I could go for some weed. And Alex is like,
Call Dante.
oh, bitch, I'll get you weed. So he calls Dante, and Dante brings, I don't remember how it was phrased. It was like something in hose, or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Because he had like two categories of people, and Alex is like, I wish it was more of one and less of the other.
Oh, you're right.
Is
Yeah.
this resonating with anyone?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But anyway, it's basically just like a bunch of bikers and a bunch of strippers.
Yeah. But everyone's like super nice.
Yeah,
Like,
everyone is super nice.
Like the only downer is like some straight in a suit who gets like all uppity when grandma's like, I think the cereal mascot's really hunky. And he's like, whatever, weirdo. And she's like, whatever to you. Takes his cereal bowl back and gives it to the biker. And he's like, whatever, nerd. Yeah, like everyone's super cool. Like this party, like people are DJing. Going back to Sam's character again, like they've just successfully done her job, like the job that she was sent out to do. So she's super happy. She has seemed super cool this whole time. I'm not saying or advocating you have to do drugs or whatever, but she's like, yeah, I'd smoke some pot. I'd love to like party with you guys. Again, super cool character.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole movie outside of JP, if you took JP out, it's like, want to watch a show about just a harmonious gaming team? And I would still watch this. Like, you don't even need an antagonist. I would just totally watch the show because I like all the people in it. Is that weird?
No, I think you're totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if like you didn't have a common enemy, like Collin and Mike noted, the banter is really fun. They're just playing video games. They're having a good time. I'm like, wow, I just wish everything successfully worked out for the best for everyone all the time. The end. And it does eventually, again.
Yeah.
Even though it has right now.
Especially if you included the milkmaid.
You guys can
Are we going to talk about the milkmaid?
How can we not?
Where's Jonah Hill to defend himself?
He's somewhere else.
So everyone is now getting super stoned and super, super drunk. Mixtures of both of these things. Karaoke's going on. Eventually, Sam sings Push It by Salt and Peppa in a very drunken way, which is like a lot of fun. It just highlights like the party's safe. People are getting weird and it's drunken, whatever, but it's not just like a gross party. Maybe on Jonah Hill's end, it's a little different.
Everyone's consenting. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah. So Jonah Hill eyes some woman's breasts from across the room and then proceeds to just
Well, I think they
suckle.
they framed it a little bit differently, where she actually approached him and was like,
Yeah.
you have, this an adorable face," and starts, she pinches his face a little bit
Yeah.
and then whips
Babe-
out her boobs. And,
Baby wants some milk.
yeah. Great
Yeah.
line.
That's not the part of the party I wanted to join. I liked everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was private in a different room, yeah, so do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like if that was going on, I'd probably ignore that room. But, they're adults. They're
Yeah, get that out of the center of the room.
Sure,
Totally
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how everyone feels about public displays of affection in this room. I'm not really for it. Like, I don't mean like someone kissed them like goodbye or hello, like anything like that. I'm like, But like, if you're just full on like topless and or like sex making out, just go to another room. Like, I'm super cool about it. Just like, do I have to be next to you?
I think I'd be more okay with the PDA if it was like the weird novelty tit sucking
sure.
than like if it was like two people having a meaningful physical moment.
I don't know. That's I'd have to psychologically examine that.
Because like if two, well, this is because I'm a broken person, but if two people that cared about each other were like, let's like show our physical affection in front of other people, I'd be like, ooh, gross. But if a weird stripper was like, hey, Jonah Hill, why don't you suck on these titties? And he did it in front of me, I'd be like, yeah,
That makes
this
sense.
this is okay. Yeah.
Sure. Like part of the enjoyment is the exhibitionist aspect of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Like, yeah, if it's not a sincere moment, I'm more here for it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a show. It's not
Yeah,
supposed to be.
exactly. Yeah. This is for all of our
It's something for
entertainment.
everyone. It's the
Yeah.
gift I brought. I didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of money, so I made a gift.
Paul, that's the gift that keeps giving the whole year round.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been brought to you by Jim Beam.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look at that.
Wow.
Is that a Long Island iced tea?
How did that get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything about this party is a lot of fun. One of the pivotal points is they do call JP and kind of make a pranky, drunky call. He doesn't get it at the time, and then later does get it, and this puts him into a frantic rage.
Yeah, he
when does get it.
loses it.
But the next day, before we cut to that, is the party's successful. Sam spent the night. Clearly, everyone was just kind of like partied out. It was just like a fun night. Like, and I didn't mean like it doesn't allude that Sam spent the night and they like, slept together. It was just like everyone had like a really fun, sincere time, and that's why I like again everyone cast in this. It's like that's the kind of cool party you want. Like everyone's consensually doing something. Everyone's really nice to one another. Everyone seemed just careful and cautious. Like awesome. I love this party. The vibe of this party was dope.
You know who had a really good time at this party? Who's Nick Swartz?
Nick Swartz and
Yeah.
Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, he hooks up with one of the
B.
with B, the roommate.
No, not B. B is the crazy pill lady.
yeah, it's the
this
other
is Shirley, maybe.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. B is the pill popper.
yeah.
And she's explaining to him like all of her sexual history.
Yeah, she's been with 3,000 people.
3,000 people.
This is another alarming situation. He's like, it's my first time. And she's like, oh, for me, it's been, you're my number, I don't know, 3,000 something. And he goes, I should have wore a condom.
I once gave Charlie Chaplin a hand job. Was he quiet?
I should have mentioned this earlier. I think every single Nick Swartzen line is gold.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You can't really tell what's a genuine line and what's ad lib.
I'm sure a lot of
everything
it's
is
ad-lib.
incredible.
Especially when he's defending himself. I totally agree in the game room. Like, I feel that's like, that has definitely got to be, improv as much as written. Like, just go in there and, like, dish it out. Like, someone has one line, go. Yeah, I totally agree.
So good.
Yes, some of his lines, they're not only good, they're haunting. That's why they'll stick with you because you're like, oh, God. And I don't mean that in a cringeworthy way. It's just like, it's like a truth bomb. You're like, it is the reality that is now your now and future. And you're like, thank you for delivering this with a smile. Yeah, it's that kind of darkness.
Yeah.
The real darkness.
Yeah, but so, cut to the next morning. Linda C is she's being shown some photo albums of Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little scamp. And there was a grandfather involved who looked just like Mr. Rogers.
Mm-hmm. He did look like Mr. Rogers.
No.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fred Rogers.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're kind of establishing that like Linda C is maybe kind of into this now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another reason I like it. It's like, this is like a long-term relationship. Like, no one would be like, I'm having a one-night stand. I want to meet your grandmother and have breakfast the next morning.
Right.
So I'm like, this is kind of like an endearing film in a lot of ways. So I feel there's a lot of reality points that this could happen. Like, this is cool. Like, I'm down.
You heard it here first. No one has ever referred to Grandma's Boy as endearing before tonight. So, yeah.
Wow.
But it is.
It is, yeah.
It is endearing.
It is.
She asks Alex for a ride home. She's staying at a hotel because she's just like a consultant basically, and he delivers her to the hotel, and they might make out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm throwing this out because a couple friends of ours were like highlighting that they were single and like, how would you want to meet someone? And I'm like, this seems, and I don't mean this like in a weird, like, it's all destiny way or anything. It's just like, this seems like such an ideal situation where like, oh, I met someone through a work situation. They're not permanently at my work, but because of this, I know this person. We've hit it off. We partied together. They've met my family and they want to like hang out. I was like, that seems awesome. Like I actually like, totally would mark this as much comedy as romance, like realistic romance. I don't mean like Hallmark Lifetime Christmas time romance where it's like, an elfy little tale in a snowy village off a radio station brought you to Delaware. None of that, but it's like, that's cool. I'm like, I'm down with it. This movie slipped in some romance. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, if you really wanted to dig deep into the nitty gritty, I think this scene where he walks her to her hotel room is about where it breaks. Because, if he's giving her a ride back to her hotel room, he'd probably just drop her off at the front. Call it
He
good.
wouldn't walk up to the
Yeah.
door. Yeah.
But it's you're trying to make a movie, so this is kind of where they break reality a little bit. He walks her to her hotel room. She goes into the room. He walks away, realizes he's forgot a parking ticket, comes back to the room, knocks on the door. She opens the door, jumps at him, they make out a little bit.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah, totally great scene.
For sure.
Yeah, they slipped in romance, and I did not see it coming if I just looked at the poster or maybe a trailer of Grandma's Boy.
Sure, yeah.
This is the scene now where JP is, trying to, and what we assume is failing at the coding. Here's kind of a question I have for you. Why is this game not working? So I don't really understand. So JP has done stuff, and everyone has play tested the levels. So why is this game now not okay at this point?
I don't know.
I have a great idea that I noticed on this. So when you see people playtesting levels, what you see is a two-dimensional fighter in the realm of Mortal Kombat, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When he's doing the playtesting, it's a three-dimensional view where he's moving around a character and his head just kind of falls off. Mm-hmm. Which is in the third dimension. So I think what he's trying to do when he's doing this game is add an additional dimension to his game fighting game, which is something that he perhaps doesn't have the experience in. And this is 2006, so this is the timing of Unreal 4 as an engine rather than Unreal 5. So maybe he doesn't have the experience in it, something like that, which is something that I don't think anyone would notice unless you are really paying hard attention. I don't know, maybe I was in my 10th viewing of this,
Yeah.
So I think that might be it, where
That's awesome.
He goes from a fighting Mortal Kombat style to a 3D kind of setting. And he doesn't know what to do.
And it's kind of, to get nerdy with it, it's kind of alluded to that he's creating an engine for this game. He's not just skinning something that exists.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if you look at it, it's very rough. There's not a lot of background. There's not a lot of texture. He's really just trying to figure out the basics, and it's not there for him.
Right.
I have other computer questions and tech questions that I'm gonna put into question. But Collin, that I totally follow that. That totally makes sense, because I was watching this. I was like, now that they've play tested, I didn't really see what the problem was. But going back, there are scenes where he's like, it's not going to work. This is falling apart. And this is one of them. And he checks his phone and he hears this prank call and he freaks out. And this is where he's like, they're sleeping together. My bionic legs will never work. He just throws that in. He's having a total meltdown. And he goes over to Alex's house as a miserable, pathetic SOB.
Yeah.
In the rain.
And to be honest, I totally feel for JP here after he listens to the voicemail.
That
you can
sucks.
totally see how it just crushes him, where, the people that he works with, take the time to reach out to him, to make fun of him, to, remind him that he doesn't belong there, to really reinforce that the girl that he has a crush on, even though they don't necessarily know, isn't part of his group. The whole thing is pretty sad, really.
It is.
Well, one of the questions I have too about the work dynamics, I totally agree. So to go off that is why? I mean, he seems like he has hiring abilities. I would think he would hire people who would be way more in step with what he's demanding. Not we're gonna have a game room and everyone likes it. He would just hire people who likes him, a bunch of yes men. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't imagine that he really has a lot of hiring authority. I think Brainasium is
it's all
really.
Kevin
I think
Nealon?
it's all Cheezle's thing.
Yeah, my guess is that he's the creative and the creative force behind this, but that he doesn't get to make decisions.
You think he'd be a whiny little bitch boy that he'd be I'm going to make threats that my creativity isn't good enough unless I would feel maybe not everyone, but he could get people fired, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, sure. I imagine that. I imagine he
maybe,
doesn't
I
have the
guess.
network to hire people. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I work kind of in a tech adjacent industry, and I know people who are crucial to the technological components of what we do, but they have no authority for anything.
Here would be an interesting fire to take JP's perspective. I don't think he could get Alex fired because Alex apparently is like really good at what he does.
Yeah, he seems to be the best one.
But Jeff mouths off a lot to JP, and I bet JP could put out enough of a fuss to get someone like Jeff fired.
I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah.
Because Jeff is second best.
Yeah, he does seem to be.
But Kane or Barry,
Oh,
Jonah
there we go.
Hill, sure.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he could totally get them fired.
It was all a shitty conversation that we're having with all of those. But I mean, but that's JP's personality. Like, he's just shitty and doesn't really consider these people, and they're giving him good ideas, and they're trying to work as a whole. Even if he's the notable creative force, but he's just a jerk to all these people.
Yeah.
yeah.
But to kind of sum it up, he goes to Alex's house. He sees that he's working on Demonic. He's very impressed, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you this copy." He's like, "That's what friends do. They'll look at this copy," and he kind of puts it back together. We'll hang out sometime. And JP leaves, and this is again another tech question. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Cut to the chase. The next morning, JP has a new game already. Not the game that they're working out, but a new game.
yeah.
So that's kind of weird. And they unveil Demonic as JP's. And I do like that Alex immediately shuts the shit down on this meeting. He's like, nope. He's like, that's my game. And Jeff's like, I'm trying to listen. He's like, no. And he like stands up like, we're shutting this down. This is my game. And even Kevin Nealon like shuts down. He's like, what are you talking about? Because I would do the exact same thing. Like, we're not talking about it after this meeting. We're stopping this meeting immediately. Like, I would not have this. And he's like, this is my game. He's like, do you have another copy? He's like, no. I'm like, how about this? I don't have it on me. Let me go get my computer that I code all of this with.
Right. At least lie about it. But
Wait,
also,
how would you not have another copy?
Well, I mean,
what does that mean?
We're gonna nerd out here, but like you would have to. You can't just code a game
On a disc?
On a disc, yeah. Like it has to exist somewhere.
A rewritable DVD?
Right. Like you can't just put a CD into an Xbox and make a game. Like it has to be somewhere
What does
else.
that mean?
So I mean, even here's the situation, right? So like, let's say there's no other copy. I'm sure that Alex could say, here are the plot points of this game that both no one has ever heard of,
Sure, yeah.
and you know, doesn't exist at all, that I know of because I wrote it.
Right.
And
But characters' names.
Right, yeah.
Like,
so there are probably a dozen resolution solutions.
Yes.
to this.
There's a file buried in here called blank.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Again, though, it's on my effing hard drive. Like, let me go get it what I am currently coding on this briefcase-sized computer. And one of probably the 75 DVDs I have burned to playtest this. I could only imagine how many discs at this point in time a playtester would have, especially of their own game.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, I worked on music for so long that we would burn like epic CDs and be like, nope, we gotta like change the levels on this. Like, that's exactly what they would be doing. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is like the weak plot point here,
But then again, Alex is a huge stoner. So
That's true.
He may not have remembered.
So, Collin, you're telling us we need to write this off as stoner logic?
I think so.
I love it. I love it. And a comedy could do that. If this is a serious movie, I think we would have some serious problems.
But I mean, stoner logic prevailing, Alex just quits.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to resolve this.
Yeah, which again, I would quit. Anyone should quit.
Sure.
It would be a huge lawsuit every which way because I would go home and be like, everything's like probably somehow time stamped with every file you've ever worked on all these hard drives. You could be like, I could show you 75 drafts of this. And as all of you noted, the nuances of the game, like plot points or like weird hidden folders and like crazy crap.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Sam goes to try to find him and gets Grandma, and Grandma alludes that she knows the game Demonic, and he's like, whoa, or Sam goes, whoa, and brings back the Grandma back to the office so she could challenge JP. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to cut to the chase. Challenge accepted, and she wins. Boom.
Yeah.
She turns into a crazy like demon character and demolishes JP, and JP is in ruins.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what happens to JP after that all too much.
No. Can we backtrack a second?
Yeah.
Because there's a scene that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah, the monkey. Is it the monkey?
It isn't the monkey, but I do enjoy the monkey. What Nick Swartzen? What's
Jeff.
his name? Jeff. Yeah. when they're wrangling the grandmother to go prove that the game belongs to Alex, Nick Swartzen, who is now hooked up with what's her name?
I said Shirley earlier,
Shirley?
but that could totally not be.
We'll go with Shirley,
Sure.
who is like the old timey slut. As we find out. She's like,
is that on her calling card?
yeah. He's like, we got to go. Like, we got to prove this game it belongs to Alex. He's like, no, we got enough time. There's just enough time to 69. Just like Don Knotts.
Yikes.
I don't know if we mentioned her, but she had previously hooked up with Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hand job, the silent hand
Yep.
job. Yeah.
Gosh, so good.
Yeah.
But she also 69 Don Knotts
Yeah. There was like
with Mr. Limpet.
yeah.
Grace. Her real name is Shirley Jones. Her name in the movie
Is Grace.
Grace.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, hey, that was pretty good, though.
Yeah. That's great.
Sorry, Shirley.
She's all right. She's probably dead.
She's probably dead.
And meanwhile, simultaneously, Alex is just getting stoned out of his mind.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the movie, throughout the movie, Dante like has different, these styles, these strains, as we noted, and different names. He's like, I want it all in one mega joint. He's like, you're gonna lose your mind, but I'll lose it with you. So he's like crazy stoned. And also, there is a monkey at this point in time who is fighting a karate master. It's very confusing, but. Check us out on social media. You'll get to see pictures of it. That's going to be a nice little icon. All the more reason to check us out on Instagram or Facebook or social media of those two. I want to say like there's more, but there's not. There's that.
It's just them.
And
And
it is a very sensible approach. The
Yeah.
lion doesn't work out. The next step is clearly a monkey.
You get a monkey, yeah.
And then you train him to, fight with karate.
Jeff calls and realizes that Alex is so out of his mind. He tricks him and basically says your grandmother's in trouble, and he rushes to the office. And they do find out that everything's great. You got your job. Don't worry about it. We're going to produce your game. Kevin Nealon goes on a long dream that he had that alludes that he would underestimate someone, so he's sorry, but everything's great now. And that's kind of where we're at. And we cut 6 months later. And the game's produced, and there's an elephant that's now owned by Dante for some reason. And we kind of wrap up kind of quickly, but everything seems to be going good in the relationship zone with Sam and Alex.
Yeah.
And the movie wraps up. I like it. I love this movie. I think this movie has a lot for me.
Agreed.
It has romance. It has comedy. Again, it's really weird. I don't mind JP in this, but like really looking at it, if he wasn't in this film, I would still thoroughly enjoy it. It would just be like the whimsical musings of people working. It would be like instead of paper office, it would be a videotech office in 2006. It'd be like a total great BBC 3-season, 6-episode series. Done.
Yeah.
I did it.
Totally agree. I think everything, this movie is still super funny today as it was, back in 2006.
Oh, yeah. Of all the movies we've seen recently, I think I laughed out loud. I LOL'd more for this one than I have recently.
I am surprised there was not an Adam Sandler cameo in this.
I am
Just
also
just like
surprised.
one small thing. It's like very odd.
There were several references to Adam Sandler-ish things. I think there's a point in the movie, for instance, where Nick Swartzen calls Alex Douche Bigelow. Things like that are throughout that kind of are adjacent to Adam Sandler.
I thought that
things.
was a Rob Schneider joke.
Sure, I mean, because Rob Schneider is Deuce Bigelow, but I think it was not. It's anything Rob Schneider is Adam Sandler adjacent.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what kind of movies do we have coming up? As we've given you our email, you could also hit us up, properonrabbittroopsucks.com. See some photos. You could write us directly, and it goes to our email, and make any suggestions. Coming up next to celebrate summer, we've got Surf Ninjas from 1993. And talking about Rob Schneider, Surf Ninjas. 1993.
Oh, that's so good.
So welcome to summer. Welcome to Surf Ninjas.
Wait, is Rob Schneider in Surf Ninja?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
he is.
Mike, you're
He is the
you're in-
best line in Surf Ninjas.
I know I haven't.
You're in for a wild ride.
I don't
friend.
think I haven't seen Surf Ninjas in like 20 years.
Like, hang 10,
Money
bro.
cannot buy knives.
Ooh, okay. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, hang 10, bro. we're gonna have a good time with Surf Ninjas. Yeah, to welcome summer. So thanks for listening. Final views. Collin, thanks for being on. Any movies that you're looking forward to? I know we talked about one off air. We'll talk about that more. Any other movies that you're thinking down the road that we should be looking at?
So many. I think it'll have to be off the air.
Nice.
But I will. We've got a handful for you.
Well, how about this? The last time on our 50th episode, I asked, is anyone looking forward to like a specific genre? Like, and I know Lamar was like, I want 80s action, and I've got a movie lined up, 80s action. Is there anything like that, like a little vague? That you guess?
I think I am generally inclined to anything animated. Similarly, anything probably country oriented, some Western stuff. I'm your guy.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I have some weird ideas, some weird offline ideas. So feel free to write us, and especially your dirty ideas to Mike, which he loves to hear. So as always, thanks for listening. Enjoy your night. Again, I always just assume you're listening at night. Rabbit Troop does in fact suck, so Rabbit Troop sucks.
Rabbit Troop sucks.